A very good evening and thank you for joining GBS News at 9. My name is Stephen George and our sign language interpreter tonight is Paul Madenge. Now, Kenya has today hosted the second European Union Business Forum in Nairobi as it aims to make more stronger ties in the business field with nations from Europe. The forum, which was attended by President William Ruto, will benefit both parties as Europe promises to invest 100 million euros in an agreement that was signed between Kenya and Europe, aiming to boost small and micro enterprises business in the country, as Davis Karani reports.
President William Ruto, who was a host of the European delegation team, has today stated on his confidence on the agreement between Kenya and Europe, which according to him is a major gateway opening Kenyan business to the world.
Our agreement with the United Kingdom links us to a $3.3 trillion market. Our newly signed Kenya-UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement connects us to another $503 billion Gulf market. Closer to Kenya, Kenya remains a key partner in the East African community.
Kenya as a country is expected to benefit and win bigger, especially in an agreement that was signed between European Union and Kenya, which in the agreement, Europe promised to oversee the financing of Kenya through the Family Bank of Kenya.
The proof of this agreement is also demonstrated, not like the pudding in the eating, but in the revenue, in the growth of trade, in a number of business delegations crisscrossing the both continents. We are just discovering the potential which exists between Kenya and the European Union.
According to Mara Sepkovic, he stated that the partnership between Kenya and Africa at large with the Europe will be more significant considering the fact that Kenya is the first and the biggest European export, hence promoting mutual benefit.
The European Investment Bank values the cordial and very productive relationship it has with Kenya. And we have so far invested over 1.7 billion euros to support various sectors of the economy that supports trade. We have done several investments to increase the capacity of various Olkaria geothermal plants.
Davis Karani for GBS News, Nairobi.
To hundreds of Kenyan students still stuck in limbo, the arrival of Finland's president felt like a long overdue chance for answers rather, but instead of justice, they got polite deflections. Instead of action, they got praise from Finnish universities. And back home, President William Ruto echoed the same old vague talk of accountability mechanisms with no timelines, no outcomes, and no clear path to redress. 5 years on, the billion-shilling education scandal continues to unravel, and for the victims, hope is running on empty. Susan Nganga with the report.
How are you, sir? Welcome to Nairobi. Really love welcome to Kenya.
To many students affected by the Finland scholarship scandal, the Finnish President Alexander Stubb's state visit felt like hope is here finally. But to their disappointment, their hope candles have been turned off once again. To many students, Finnish President Alexander Stubb's answer felt vague, disappointingly so. But really, what did we expect when even our own president, 5 years later, still couldn't give us a straight answer? Asked where Finland stands on the education scandal that made headlines across the two continents, Stubb called the delays unfortunate and praised Finland's world-class universities.
I don't know the specific case, but of course, anytime there are delays in students entering Finland, I find that to be quite unfortunate. Fortunately, we have a very good university system which attracts a lot of students, and I would hope, of course, that in the future we get more Kenyan students as well. But any kind of delays and hopefully students not getting stranded, in my mind, is unacceptable.
No word on justice, no mention of the students still stranded, just a polite deflection, almost as if the issue were an unfortunate mix-up, not a life-altering crisis. Back at home, President Ruto wasn't much clearer. He said the matter was being handled, that some officials were, and I quote, undergoing accountability mechanism.
And some of the Kenyan students who unfortunately got stranded in Finland. I'm happy that there was eventually, it was a very unfortunate situation, and some officials in Kenya are undergoing accountability mechanisms to make sure that whatever happened to those students, whoever was involved, are held to account.
But what exactly does that mean? No timelines, no outcomes, no commitment to real support. To many, it sounded like another well-polished promise, light on substance, heavy on spin. The 1.1 billion Kenyan shilling scandal centers on the Uasin Gishu County Overseas Education Program, which promised Kenyan student placements in universities in Finland and Canada in exchange for substantial payments from their parents. Investigations revealed that the program failed to deliver on its promises, leaving many families out of pocket and students stranded without education opportunities they had paid for. Uasin Gishu Senator Jackson Mandago, along with county officials Joseph Kipkemoi Maritim, Meshach Rono, and Joshua Kipkemoi Lelei, have been arrested and charged with embezzlement, abuse of office, conspiracy to commit a felony, and forgery. The accused have since appeared in court with ongoing hearings and up to 202 witnesses lined up to testify. Susan Nganga, GBS News, Nairobi.
A stellar report there now. Home ownership in Kenya may soon become more than just a dream. It could become a reality for more families across the country. That's thanks to a groundbreaking partnership between Superior Homes Kenya and KCB Bank aimed at closing the gap between property development and accessible financing. Signed today under an MOU, the deal targets mid-income and premium housing markets with the goal of making home ownership more affordable and flexible. As KCB rolls out tailored mortgage packages, including options under Kenya Mortgage Finance Company that allow borrowing of up to 105% of property's value, industry leaders say this could be a turning point for Kenya's real estate sector. But with nearly 9 in 10 Kenyans still building homes through personal savings, will this be the solution to unlock structured financing for the masses? Our reporter Susan Nganga has more.
The team is bigger because I'm more...
Home ownership in Kenya could soon become more affordable and accessible, thanks to a new partnership that promises to reshape the country's housing landscape. Leading property developer Superior Homes Kenya has today signed a landmark agreement with KCB Bank Kenya under a memorandum of understanding. The goal: to close the long-standing gap between property development and financing, particularly for mid-income and premium market segments. Speaking during the event, Superior Homes Kenya CEO Shiv Arora described the partnership as a transformative milestone, one that brings the dream of home ownership closer to reality for many Kenyans.
We are really proud today to have the KCB team here for the signing of a strategic partnership between Superior Homes and KCB, which will encompass financing across the entire real estate spectrum, which includes project finance, construction finance, and especially end-user financing. Superior Homes is a brand that's been in the market for over 20 years with an unparalleled track record in delivering quality and institutional-grade real estate to our buyers. So in line with that, we're really excited to partner with Kenya's largest bank in the market, and especially the largest bank driving real estate innovation. They're the second largest shareholders in KMRC, have the Property Club, the KCB Bus Tour, and have financed numerous projects over the life of KCB. So we're excited to be able to partner with them to bring innovative projects to the market, innovative financing solutions, and as well provide our buyers with access to finance, which is available through KCB. So today marks the journey of our strategic partnership with KCB, and we're really excited for what the future holds for both of our brands.
Under the new deal, KCB Bank will offer custom mortgages packages for superior home developments, including flexible payment plans and dedicated buyer support. The bank will also leverage the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company, which allows buyers to borrow up to 105% of a property's value. KCB's Group Head of Projects and Investments, Kenneth Lusa, emphasized the moves align with the country's wider push to make housing more inclusive and attainable.
As you all know, we are looking at offering the KMRC mortgage facility, which also allows 105% borrowing. So not only are we giving you enough money to buy the property, but also to cover some of your closing costs, which actually then help in terms of easing that whole burden of transitioning people into home ownership. So we're very proud of today's occasion. It's a Mensa relationship, it's a Mensa working relationship, and moving forward, we are really looking forward to a bright future where we can continue to provide affordable housing for the majority of people in Kenya.
Kenya's real estate is growing, now contributing 6.7% to the GDP, up from 4.1% in 2020. But despite that momentum, the reality on the ground tells a different story. That is, nearly 9 out of 10 Kenyans still construct their homes slowly, relying on personal savings, not structured financing. Susan Nganga, GBS News, Nairobi.
Well, it is time for us to take a short break. Keep your feedback streaming on the social media platform at GBS TV Africa. The SMS line is 2114. We'll be right back.
Today, it's that day that I would like us just to have that conversation on monthly matters.
Let's talk of Mama Fua, who like akifanya shughuli zake hapa kule has more or less that amount.
Yeah, so on that part, I would say this. When you are doing your savings, you can have, we normally talk about having 3 buckets. So we will just talk about income, budgeting, saving, and investment. Those are the 4 areas we will look at.
Happens to those like me who are planning to retire early.
We are basically looking at our incomes. We also talk about savings and investments. So those are the 3. I will not add the 4th one, which we all shy of talking about. So I would say it's not how much I am earning, but it is how much I set aside.
We are going to be talking about goal setting itself and building resilience. Goal setting and building resilience.
So hawezi sema nita set goal, then someone else akuja kuwork on the goal. Hawezi sema uta set goal yenyewe mwenyewe huwezi reach. Hawezi sema uta set goal na mali una stand, like huwezi reach ile goal umeset.
Just imagine I've promised someone that I will do something to them by the end of this year. And then surely I fail. What will happen? You know, they will say Steve has broken my heart.
Nimeset hata mimi goals, but ni realistic goals.
Unajua aje ni realistic?
Because najua I'm capable of, like, they're realistic. They're making sense. Sijasema nanunua V8 by the end of the year. But because I know inaweza kuwa impossible because mtu anaangalianga. Si kumake tu. Unajua utaandika. By December 31st, nataka kuwa na iPhone 16 Pro.
It is insane to do the same thing and expect different results. Yeah, so definitely we need to see, like, if it is not working, what is in this system that is making this thing fail, and I'm expecting these results. How can I improve this project?
The goals that you set, maybe ukiona, like, maybe that can be affected by kitu huwezi avoid.
About self-competition. I'm only in competition with the person I see in the mirror, and that is me. So it is about my personal development.
It's not just a matter of writing and putting and now waiting, you know.
How to avoid food poisoning. Tips to prevent foodborne illness. You'll need sealable containers, a cutting board, antibacterial soap, lemon juice or vinegar. Step 1. Check the dates of the food products before buying and before cooking. Step 2. Store food in the recommended temperatures to keep them fresh. Step 3. Discard any food that smells or looks questionable. Step 4. Separate meat and vegetables at storage. Step 5. Use plastic chopping boards and not wooden ones. Bacteria can get trapped in wooden boards. Step 6. Wash your hands thoroughly with antibacterial soap before handling food or after handling meat. Step 7. Refrigerate leftovers within 2 hours of cooking.
Everywhere, GBS.
And welcome back now to international news. Pope Leo XIV today arrived for an audience with thousands of journalists and media workers at Paul VI Hall in Vatican City. The audience with journalists has become a tradition among newly elected popes. According to the Pope Leo XIV, in his address to journalists this morning, he implored them to use communication as a tool for peace, as Davis Karani reports.
He has maintained his conversation over peace, urging journalists to use their tools as weapons of peace and promote unity across the world, while referring to Pope Francis' message from the World's Day Social Communications in January this year.
Brothers and sisters, I welcome you, representatives of the media from around the world. Thank you for the work you have done and continue to do in these days, which is truly a time of grace for the Church.
Leo also reiterated the Church's solidarity with imprisoned journalists and called for their immediate release, stating that the Church recognizes these witnesses who are ready to defend dignity, justice and rights of the people to be informed, because only informed individuals can make free choices.
Peace begins with each one of us, in the way we look at others, listen to others, and speak about others. We must say no to the war of words and images. We must reject the paradigm of war.
The remarks comes in just a day after Pope called for a ceasefire and access to humanitarian aid in Gaza and an end to the war in Ukraine. Leo also spoke about the challenges the Church and media face in a changing world, including artificial intelligence.
Permettetemi allora di ribadire oggi la solidarietà della Chiesa
Let me therefore reiterate today the Church's solidarity with journalists who are imprisoned for seeking and reporting the truth, while also asking for their release.
A conflict that has entered its third year with no end in sight. What started as a power struggle between two rival factions has now spiraled into one of the world's worst humanitarian emergencies. In recent days, the violence has escalated dramatically, reaching even the once safe city of Port Sudan. Our feature story this evening looks at a nation on the brink, caught between war, famine, and the threat of complete collapse.
Sudan's war has now entered its third year, and what began as a power struggle between rival military factions has exploded into one of the world's worst humanitarian disasters. This past week marked a dangerous turning point. The once safe city of Port Sudan has come under fire. A place that had become a refuge for millions is now a frontline. The Rapid Support Forces launched a series of drone and missile attacks on the city, striking the airport, oil depots, power station, and even a hotel. The result? widespread blackouts, evacuation, and growing fear among civilians who had already fled war once before. In just a few days, at least 33 people were killed in suspected RSF assaults. A strike on a prison in El Obeid left 19 people dead. In Darfur, an airstrike killed 14 members of a single family. No corner of Sudan feels safe anymore.
Was the Army's Air Force. They didn't intend to kill my son, but because the rapid support forces were in the area, he was killed by accident while he was playing with other children. The body was in a bad state, so we had to make sure his siblings didn't see him. We had to take his body away quickly.
The war began in April 2023 after a failed attempt to shift power to a civilian-led government. Instead, the country fractured. The Sudanese armed forces took one side, and the RSF, a powerful paramilitary group with roots in Darfur, took the other. Now, with both sides locked in a brutal power struggle, the humanitarian toll is staggering. 12 million people have been displaced, half the population. That's, get this, 30 million people need urgent aid. Hospitals are collapsing, 1 in 3 are still operational, and famine is spreading fast. In 2025 alone, more than 3 million children face acute malnutrition. Basic supplies, that is food, fuel, medicine, are either gone or priced out of reach.
This war should end with a military solution. A year of our lives has passed. It was filled with displacement and homelessness.
It is out of our hands. We are forced to leave our country. We are longing to go back to our homes, and we feel pain that the war is still ongoing.
A humanitarian travesty is playing out in Sudan under a veil of international inaction and inattention. Simply put, we are failing the people of Sudan.
In recent weeks, the Sudanese armed forces recaptured areas in central Sudan, including parts of Khartoum. But the Rapid Support Forces has tightened its hold in the west, even setting what is now being called a parallel government in some regions. Now, the battleground has widened, and now the fallout is international, leading to May 6th, Sudan officially severing diplomatic ties with the United Arab Emirates.
بأثره يتابع ولأكثر من عامين جريمة العدوان على سيادة السودان ووحدة أراضيه وأمن مواطنيه من دولة الأمارات العربية المتحدة وعبر وكيلها المحلي ميليشيا الدعم السريع المتمردة الإرهابية وظهيرها السياسي.
The Sudanese Armed Forces accuses UAE of supplying advanced weapons to the Rapid Support Forces, including drones used in the attacks on Port Sudan. Sudan's defense minister declared UAE, and I quote, an aggressor state, leading to the Sudanese embassies in Abu Dhabi to be closed, diplomatic staff withdrawn. The UAE has denied all allegations, and the International Court of Justice recently dismissed a Sudanese lawsuit citing procedural grounds.
Having come to the conclusion that it manifestly lacks jurisdiction, the court is precluded by its statute from taking any position on the merits of the claims made by Sudan.
Refugees continue to pour into Chad, Egypt, and South Sudan, putting pressure on already fragile nations. And as aid routes are cut off and vital infrastructure destroyed, the risk of Sudan's total collapse grows by the day.
We are living difficult periods with the influxes after the bombing of Zamzam IDP camp in Darfur and El Fasher. We have hundreds of thousands people moving who have been living in Zamzam. We didn't expect this big influxes of people. It's terrible here at the border. Many children, unaccompanied children, like the one of 14 years we just met. This boy of 9 years who is crying here looking for their parents. Many persons with specific needs, with elder, the doctor just told me that there are many pregnant women, lactating women who are malnourished. So we expect more malnourished people coming now, talking about people who are dying on their way from Zamzam to between Tawila and here Etine, dying with hunger.
There is no clear path to peace. No side appears close to victory, and millions of Sudanese remain caught in the crossfire. The silence of diplomacy is drowned out by the sound of gunfire. Susan Nganga, GBS News, Sudan.
Well, to our next story, Ukrainian President Zelensky says that he will meet Russian President on Thursday, which many states that it is a bold move amid global tensions. The two leaders from the two different states have been engaging their nations in physical fights with each other, and their announcement breeds hope for peace, especially after President Zelensky announced on his readiness to meet Russian President Putin in Turkey this Thursday on May 15th, as Davis Karani reports.
The two leaders from Russia and Ukraine, which have been in fights for over 4 years, now are expected to meet on Thursday the 15th, after they both agreed to have a diplomatic talks in Turkey, which have been received by citizens from both states positively.
Negotiations were necessary from the very beginning, but it seems to me that the Ukrainian side will not agree to such negotiations, well, because they are aggressively disposed, like the entire West. The parties will not find a compromise in resolving this issue. That is, this conflict will continue. It will continue until Zelensky matures in his decision to finally stop the war. We hope for a positive outcome. We have taken the first step once again. Let's hope that this will lead to something good.
As I quote, let's unpack what is happening and what it might mean. These are the declarations that Zelensky made on his X account earlier, and it's been reverberating ever since. He has been pushing for a 30-day unconditional ceasefire to start today, saying that it is the necessary basis for diplomacy.
It will focus on how to build and guarantee real and lasting security. Key points: 30-day ceasefire backed with sanctions.
There is this ceasefire for 30 days proposal that is very clearly now on the table.
It's unconditional ceasefire for 30 days.
His decision to meet President Vladimir Putin in person came in after a surprising nudge from US President Donald Trump, who posted on Truth Social urging Ukraine immediately to accept Putin's offer for direct talks in Istanbul. Trump called it a chance to end the bloodbath, a sentiment that aligns with his broader push to broker peace in Ukraine. And as I noted in earlier piece by Pope Leo XIV address concerning peace restoration in the world.
La pace sia con tutti voi. Fratelli, sorelle carissimi.
The two warring nations are expected to come into terms after a long time fights with each other.
If he turns his back on peace, we will respond. Working with President Trump, with all our partners, we will ramp up sanctions and increase our military aid for Ukraine's defense to pressure Russia back to the table.
Davis Karani, GBS News.
It is time for your most favorite segment of the show, the Bulletin of Sports. Let's get sporty. It's been a landmark season for Paris Saint-Germain, and at the heart of it all is Ousmane Dembele. The French forward has been named Ligue 1 Player of the Year after a campaign that saw PSG lift another league title and book their place in the Champions League final. Our sports reporter Elvis Muyodi has more.
Paris Saint-Germain forward Ousmane Dembele was named the Ligue 1 Player of the Year on Sunday after leading the club to a 13th French title and the Champions League final. Dembele is the top scorer in Ligue 1 this season with 21 goals and has struck 33 times in 46 matches across all competitions, including 8 goals in the Champions League. He succeeds Kylian Mbappe, who won the prize 5 times in a row before departing for Real Madrid at the end of last season. Meanwhile, PSG manager Luis Enrique clinched the Coach of the Year award, while Desiree Doué took home the prize for the best young player in Ligue 1. However, Lille's Lucas Chevalier denied PSG a clean sweep of the accolades as he beat Gianluigi Donnarumma to the best goalkeeper award. PSG are on course for a treble after easing to an 11th Ligue 1 title in 13 years. They will face Inter Milan in the Champions League final on May 31st, a week after facing Reims in the French Cup final. Elvin Muyodi, GBS Sports.
In a powerful show of resilience and hope, a group of Afghan refugee women are forming a new football team in exile, a symbol of determination as the global game continues to grow. This comes as FIFA announces plans to expand the Women's World Cup to 48 teams, opening doors for more nations and players than ever before. With the US and UK expected to host future tournaments and Brazil set for 2027, the stage is being set for more inclusive era in women's football, as Elvis Muyodi reports.
Afghan refugee women are forming a new football team in exile, symbolizing the growing global reach and resilience of women's football. Their efforts come as FIFA plans to expand the Women's World Cup to 48 teams, creating new opportunities for emerging and displaced communities to compete in the world stage.
Another important decision of the FIFA Council today, again related to women's football, is the creation together of an Afghan refugee women's team. We know about the situation in Afghanistan. We are engaging, of course, on a diplomatic way with Afghanistan as well. And in the meantime, we want to give the opportunity to all these Afghan women and girls living around the world to play football. And for this reason, we decided to set up a team, a refugees team, to play some games in a FIFA environment, some friendly games, to train together and to play football. An important message, again, for women, not just in Afghanistan, but all over the world, that football is for everyone.
The expansion, set to follow Brazil's 2027 tournament, will see 104 matches and broader representation, with the US and UK expected to host in 2031 and 2035 respectively. FIFA says the move will accelerate investment and access, building on the 2023 World Cup success, where teams from all confederations won matches and 5 reached the knockout stage.
The FIFA Council, after having thoroughly analyzed the question, decided today to increase the number of participating teams, of participating countries in the FIFA Women's World Cup to 48. As of the edition of the FIFA Women's World Cup 2031, there will be not anymore 32 teams participating, but 48 countries from all over the world, and this is a very, very important message on what FIFA is doing for the development of the women's game, not just in a few countries, but literally all over the world. Important decision, 2031 FIFA Women's World Cup with 48 teams. Everyone, every girl, every woman in every corner of the world can hope, inspire to participate in the FIFA Women's World Cup.
With plans to expand the Women's World Cup and increase global access, FIFA is sending a clear message. Women's World Cup is growing and everyone deserves a chance to play. Elvin Muyodi, GPS Sports.
Well, we've come to the end of the news bulletin. It is always a pleasure having you on board. Let's do this again, same time, same channel. We make your news our business. My name is Stephen George, and our sign language interpreter tonight has been Paul Madenge. Good night.